Congressman Babin, protesters who support the slaughter of babies in the womb were reportedly taking abortion pills outside the Supreme Court. You know, that's an off-label use, by the way. Quick, somebody call the FDA. Anyway, as the preamble noted, these socialists stand to lose a lot of taxpayers' money if the slaughter of minority babies is slowed or stopped. Could the money be why Mr. Biden is pushing to force all of us to pay for abortions?
That could be absolutely the truth, Chris, and Merry Christmas to you too as well. And it's a billions of dollar industry. We even have a couple of them in our in our great state of Texas, and one in Houston. It's not exactly in my district, but this is a huge, big business. Follow the money. It's just crazy. As a Christian myself. We know the history of this thing going back to 1973, and we have a great opportunity. I'm just praying. I'm praying to the good Lord above that these Supreme Court justices will do the right thing. This was a crazy, insane decision back in 1973. We heard Clarence Thomas say that the whole premise of the thing was wrong. And I just hope and pray that the right thing is done in the next few months, and that we get back to what we know is true. This should be a debate amongst the people, amongst the states. You can't have 7 black-robed individuals make a decision in '73. We all have to live with it, and we have, as a consequence, 60 to 70 million dead unborn Americans, the most vulnerable among us. And it is time that we meet this head on.
Yeah, and you said it, Congressman. I'll join you in the prayers. And yeah, we have to live with it, but 70 million babies, nearly 70 million babies, have had to die with it. And by the way, just before we move on, guys, Justice Sonia Sotomayor out there saying that she doesn't believe the Supreme Court would survive the stench if Roe versus Wade is overturned. I don't know how we've survived the stench as the slaughter of innocent babies has been the practice here in this country from the Supreme Court in '73. I want you both to weigh in on this. Congressman Van Duyne, I'll start with you first. Constitutional crisis, in my view, at the southern border. Biden is in violation of a Supreme Court order that he must reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy. He's also in violation of federal guidelines that bind every administration. Team Biden has yet to release a public report of the illegal alien population in the United States. He's required to do so. The GOP has not acted against any of this. Now, do you think it's because there's a healthy percentage of Republicans who are kind of that part of that Wall Street Journal crowd, the George Will crowd, who are just big fans of illegal immigration?
I do want to go back just very quickly as a mom and as a woman who's actually suffered a miscarriage, who's lost life in the womb. Watching those women treated so insensitively as if it was no big deal outside of the White House today. Look, Mom, I'm taking an abortion pill, I think proves the effects that Roe v. Wade has had on an entire generation, desensitizing and undervaluing life. I just want to make sure that I got that out there. What's happening at our borders is, again, it's another devaluation of life. We're looking at these hypocritical laws that are coming over here in the U.S. I watched Fauci's interview today, and Fox had asked him a question about whether or not people were getting tested at the border like we're making them get tested across the country. And his answer was, well, in some instances. We are allowing all of these drugs, sexual predators, sex trafficking, human trafficking, folks who may or may not have COVID, we don't know because we're not testing all of them, to come in illegally over our borders. We are enhancing, we are empowering, we are enriching all of these drug smugglers, gang activities, gang cartels, at the threat of all of our American streets, our kids. And Democrats have absolutely no value for it. They have no value for life. This is all a stunt. It is all about control. And it's all about recreating America in their image, which is not our image. It is not an image that I think most Americans reflect upon.
Yeah, Congressman Babin, I want you to tackle the same question, slightly different tack on this. If President Trump had violated a Supreme Court order, Democrats would have used every legislative gimmick, every trick, every tactic to slow or stop President Trump's agenda. Their voters expect that. And the Democrats delivered. They did everything to slow down the Trump agenda, every trick in the book. Doesn't the GOP run a risk here of destroying the historic gains they stand to make in 2022 if they don't at least take a stand on the separation of powers, insisting that Mr. Biden obey that Supreme Court ruling?
I would think that the GOP absolutely should take a very, very strong, courageous stand against this. Like my colleague Beth said a while ago, though, we are in the minority. There's very little that we can do other than message, and that's exactly what we're doing here on Newsmax. But we have to take that stand. We have to make sure that the American public knows that this is a lawless administration. They are breaking the law. They are violating their oaths of office. They're violating the Constitution. And that is exactly why I'm proud of the state of Texas for taking a stand itself and trying to do the things that the federal government should be doing itself. And you know how ironic it is that this administration, the Biden administration, has suspended flights and travel from southern Africa because of the Omicron variant of COVID, and at the same time forgetting all about what is coming across the border down there in Texas and all the way to the Pacific Ocean, but especially in Texas. We're bearing the brunt of all of this lawlessness, and our ranchers, our citizens, and every state now is a border state. And you know, I just think that the Biden administration needs to be, they need to have their attention gotten by the public, and I think you're going to see this, and not only in terms of what's going on at the border, but parental rights and everything else that has been the stuff that they've been trying to foist upon America. I think they're going to pay the piper next year in the midterms, and so the Biden administration they simply will not pay attention until their attention is gained by the voters. And I think this is exactly what they don't want to fix this border crisis. They want to hide this crisis.
Oh, I know.
And we want to know. I would like to say this: this border crisis is 100% deliberate, and it was 100% preventable. And unfortunately, we're reaping the rewards of this last election. Unfortunately.